Yo, what's up, Vidya? What's up, Vidya?
Show. Our guest today is the president of Botswana, DUMA BOKO. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for being our guest.
Pleasure, my pleasure.
You were elected in October 2024. For the first time, an opposition candidate won a presidential election, and it went smoothly without the world barely noticing. Africa is often associated with coups, with presidents staying in power. What's different about Botswana?
Well, Botswana has been a democracy from its independence, really. We've had elections every 5 years ever since, and they've been contested by many political parties. Uh, these parties have freely contested, freely campaigned, canvassed for support, and the elections have always taken place. And of course, it has been one outcome, which was that the ruling party was always winning those elections. But over the years, the opposition gained a lot of momentum, raised critical issues that resonated with the populace. And in 2024, it was now clear that the message that we were taking to the people was finding fertile ground. And on the 30th of October 2024, the elections took place. And the outcome was that we won.
And it was accepted by the ruling party.
It was readily accepted.
It doesn't happen like this everywhere.
In the democratic culture and nature of Botswana, when the people spoke, there was no way in which anybody could gainsay or controvert what they had said. And so the former president accepted the outcome, sent out a congratulatory message, held a press conference to congratulate, and publicly declared that he would be handing over, and he did. And that's Botswana. Our democracy has passed all the tests now. It is entrenched, it is a robust, a very energized democracy, and that's what it will be going forward.
Obviously, one of the key issues you were elected for and need to address is the economy. Botswana is a rich country thanks essentially to its diamonds. 80% of the foreign earnings are coming back, but the heyday of the diamond industry seemed to be behind because of the growing use of synthetic diamonds. However, you have decided to purchase a stake in the diamond giant, De Beers. Botswana already has 15%.
Yeah.
You want more. First of all, how is the negotiation for this transaction going? Are you going to acquire a majority stake in De Beers?
Well, the negotiation is going very well. It's a long drawn process. It goes through many stages. There's due diligence, exchange of documentation. There's a lot that's going on, and it's been going on for a while now. Botswana is certainly increasing its stake in De Beers from the 15% to where we will settle ultimately.
A majority stake?
Well, we will settle for a higher stake than we currently have. If it ends up as a majority stake, so much the better. But whatever we are able to obtain from the negotiation process, from a clear and well thought out commercial approach, we will be happy with that.
There was a rumor that there could be a joint effort with Angola. Is this still on the table as well?
Well, we spoke with Angola. Angola and Namibia are also diamond producing countries.
Right.
And it was felt that we should engage with them and see how we can collaborate, because Angola is producing diamonds as well and putting them into the market. In the ultimate instance, whether Angola comes on board with us in the De Beers or however it is done, there has to be some collaboration between us and Angola and Namibia as diamond-producing countries, and that will happen.
So they could buy a stake in De Beers?
Absolutely. It's open to them to do that.
The broader question, is it a wide move? As I said, the market is not going well. The International Monetary Fund warned your country that it was not a wise move, that you have a growing deficit of the GDP, you have more debt. So why this decision? It seems counterintuitive.
Well, the IMF, and we respect their views, have their views, we have our views. And we hold our views very firmly. It's a matter of national sovereignty for Botswana.
So you disagree?
I would disagree. We produce diamonds.
Yes.
De Beers is actually 70% Botswana. And if Botswana holds a minority stake in what it controls or should control, then there's something seriously wrong. And anybody who suggests that that situation should continue does not seem to me to have the best interests of the country at heart. And we do, because we are custodians of that best interest. And we take these decisions fully alive to what the implications are. And as I say, it's a matter of national sovereignty for Botswana.
So you are assuming that it is indeed a good decision.
Absolutely.
Because you also talked a lot about diversifying the economy,
Yes.
that Botswana shouldn't be relying on diamond like some other countries in the region rely on oil. And we've seen the damage of this dependence on one raw material. So how do you make both happen?
Well, our control over diamonds does not lead to an over-dependence on the diamonds. It is making sure that from that resource, the country gets the very best benefit. And that benefit will involve beneficiation in the country for the local population, so that we don't only export raw, we also process, we also produce jewelry. That's extracting more value from the resource. And that is not incompatible with the diversification of the economy. Because as the economy sits now, it is almost exclusively reliant on diamonds. Diversification means reducing substantially this reliance or over-reliance on diamonds. And it is an imperative. It's something that is unavoidable. And the evidence of the unavoidability lies in the very experience of the decline in diamond revenues for the country. And so the country is forced, as a matter of survival, to look to other sources of revenue, and those come with the diversification of the economy away from its over-reliance on diamonds. And that's what we're doing.
What about the threat of US tariffs? Is it still a big threat? Because obviously diamonds need to be processed, as you said, but in the end they need to be exported. What about the threat of US tariffs?
Well, the threat
is
of
it still there?
The threat of US tariffs has to be understood in a context. And the context is this. The United States, as any country should, looks out for its own interests.
Right.
And it says there are certain non-tariff barriers to trade between itself and many countries. And we've examined our trade relationship with the United States. And we've, together with them, examined where such non-tariff barriers would be, so that we remove those non-tariff barriers. Because the tariffs that the United States is contemplating or has imposed in instances are a response to exactly the fact of non-tariff barriers existing. And so once these are addressed, that obviates the need for any tariffs or of the nature of tariffs that the United States was contemplating. And that we've worked very well with the United States on that front, and we think we are
0%.
We are succeeding. We'll get there.
Have you been contacted by the Trump administration to bring in illegal migrants deported from the United States? Several African countries have accepted to it, as several others, many others probably, have been asked for it. What is Botswana's situation, Ruth?
Well, we have not been asked to take in any illegal immigrants by the United States.
And if you were asked, what would you do?
We wouldn't take those, because at the end of the day, as I said, the United States looks out for its own interests. Botswana looks out for its own interests as well. And so we examine every proposition, wherever it comes from, and look at it from the perspective of the best interests of our country.
What about tourism? There's been a lot of controversy regarding elephant hunting. There was a moratorium. It was lifted back in 2019 to limit the elephant population, bring in maybe more revenue from trophy hunting. Many Western countries have protested. Groups have said this is not good. This shouldn't be done. Your predecessor famously told Germany, if the Germans are not happy, we'll send them the elephants. Do you agree with him?
Well, in a way, what he was saying was speaking to a very real problem, and it is this. Botswana now carries the highest concentration of elephants in Southern Africa. we have now 155,000. And the level of destruction of the environment that they cause, because of their sheer numbers, is enormous. And what is the default position? The default position is that the human being is entitled to defend their property and themselves against the elephant. And left unregulated, it would result in a situation where all the people who are threatened by elephants will shoot and kill elephants. And that way, it now becomes an uncontrolled situation. So we want it controlled, we want it properly managed and carefully managed. So what do we need to do? We need to recognize that there must be controlled, coordinated culling to control the numbers. There's no escaping this. And so whether you're in Germany or wherever you are in Europe, this is the basic truth. And so when the president said, we might give you some, he was basically saying to them, you need to intimately connect with this reality so you understand it on more intimate terms, much like the people who are exposed to the problem. And so the culling has to take place. The hunting is not haphazard. It's not willy-nilly. It is culling to control the numbers and ensure that we manage the human-wildlife conflict. And this is being done reasonably well.
Just in a word to understand for the Westerners, there's not going to be a free pass on elephant hunting in the country.
No, not at all. There has never been, there will not be.
DUMA BOKO, President of Botswana, I want to thank you very much for being our guest here on France 24, and thank you all for watching this edition of Tête à Tête.